Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all the dignitaries. Governor Sir, Honorable Governor Sri Jishnu Varma Ji is on campus and shortly he would be moving to the conference hall. I request all the dignitaries and all the experts to please be seated. And we all, on behalf of the organizing committee, welcome you all to this 3-day international conference on revisiting disciplinarity through Indian philosophical ethos.
Hello, check. Hello, check.
Hello, hello,
Check.
hello, hello.
distinguished guests, students, research scholars, teaching and non-teaching staff to occupy their chairs as our Honorable Governor is about to arrive. I request all the members to please be seated in the chairs allotted to them. We are about to start our program very shortly. Faculty members, research scholars, teaching and non-teaching staff to please be seated in the chairs allotted. Our Governor, Sir, Sri Jishnu Varma is going to arrive very shortly on his way. as the governor is arriving, and once the governor arrives, we request all of you to stand up and invite him. And once the program has been initiated, I request all the members, including the volunteers, to please be seated. Good morning, one and all. On behalf of the organizing committee, I welcome you all to the 3-day international conference on Reinventing Disciplinarity through Indian Philosophical Ethos. According to Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, Indian philosophy, a philosophy of spirit, seeks to understand the ultimate reality to foster a more holistic understanding. This 3-day conference created a platform to explore the Indian philosophical concepts and methods to re-examine, redefine modern academic disciplines. I wholeheartedly welcome the chief guest, Shri Jishnu Varma ji, the Honorable Governor of Telangana and Chief Rector of English and Foreign Language University onto the dais. I request all the eminent participants, guests, students, faculty members to please raise and welcome our chief guest, Shri Jishnu Varma ji, the Honorable Governor of Telangana and Chief Rector of English and Foreign Language University onto the dais. I invite the President of today's inaugural session, Professor Haribandi Lakshmi, in charge Vice-Chancellor, English and Foreign Language University onto the stage. I also invite the guest of honor, Professor Jeffrey Armstrong, renowned Indologist from Canada, onto the dais. It's my pleasure to invite the distinguished guest, Professor V. Balakista Reddy, Chairman, Telangana Council of Higher Education, and also our Registrar in charge, Professor K. Narasimha Rao, Professor T. Sampson, Proctor Dean Academics, Professor V. Hemlata Nagarajan, Member Executive Council, Professor Hari Prasad, Dean Research, Member Executive Council, Professor T. Srivani, Dean Campus Planning and Development, and all the executive members to occupy their positions on the stage. We also extend our heartfelt invitation to G. Gunta Lakshman Ji, eminent education activist, and we also invite all the academicians, faculty members, non-teaching staff, research scholars, students, invitees from different universities, and also the press and media to this 3-day inaugural session. I request the August gathering to stand for national anthem.
जनमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Be seated. Light symbolizes the illumination of mind and acquisition of knowledge. I request the Honorable Governor Ji and other dignitaries to proceed further for lightening of the lamp. I call upon Professor R.V. Anuradha and Monishita to recite the prayer song.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दन दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापम् सन्ध्यादीपं नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
It is our pleasure to felicit the chief guest of today's function, Honorable Governor Ji, and I request our Vice-Chancellor Madam Professor Haribandi Lakshmi and Registrar Narasimha Rao Garu to felicit our Honorable Governor. I request all the members to put their hands together. Thank you, ma'am and sirs. I request Dr. Upender Gundala, conference convener, to present the objectives of the conference.
Namaskar. Today's chief guest, Honorable Governor of Telangana State, Shri Jishnu Varma ji. Guest of honor, Professor Jeffrey James Armstrong, popular Indologist, founder of Vedic Academy of Sciences at Vancouver, Canada. Distinguished guest, Professor Balakista Reddy, Chairman, Telangana Council of Higher Education. Honorable Vice-Chancellor of English and Foreign Languages University, Professor Haribandi Lakshmi ji. Registrar in charge, Professor Narasimha Rao Garu. Dean Academic and Proctor, Professor Sampson. Dean School of Literary Studies, Professor Somba Salve, and all the Executive Council members, deans, heads, and all the distinguished guests, eminent professors, energetic faculty members, enthusiastic research scholars, and inquisitive participants to this stimulating international conference on Reinventing Disciplinarity through Indian Philosophical Ethos. In the wake of modernity, in an era of intellectual fragmentation, where disciplines often operate in isolated silos, the prerequisite to revisit the holistic wisdom of Indian philosophy and the Indian knowledge systems become indispensable. At this juncture, this conference is one of the esteemed events of the university, which aims to foster interdisciplinary discussions by exploring Indian philosophical traditions, Indian knowledge systems, bringing together scholars, researchers, faculty members, and various universities and institutions from various disciplines such as humanities, social sciences, and more. Entrenched in a consolidative and dialogic tradition, Indian philosophical thought has long provided a framework for interconnected knowledge systems, blending literatures, cultures, metaphysics, ethics, epistemology, and practical sciences into a continuous as a whole. This conference objective is to explore how these foundational principles can guide contemporary academia towards more inclusive, interdisciplinary, and meaningful methods of analysis by holistic understanding of knowledge, integral thinking, pluralism and inclusivity, and the pursuit of truth and self-realization. Another objective of the conference is initiating a major step in creating a network of like-minded scholars interested in promoting cross-pollination of ideas to find creative solutions through academic discourses to various issues and concerns from the perspective of Indian philosophical ethos. I extend my honest appreciation to all the contributors, keynote speakers, faculty members, research scholars, and active participants and all the active participants for making this conference a vibrant intellectual confluence. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rupinder. I invite Professor T. Samson Thomas, Dean Academics, to throw light on the conference overview.
The Honorable Governor of Telangana and the Chief Rector of the EFL University, today's Chief Guest, Shri Jishnu Varma ji, Vice-Chancellor in Charge, Professor Haribandi Lakshmi, distinguished keynote speaker Jeffrey Armstrong, Chairperson of the Telangana Council of Higher Education, Professor Balakista Reddy ji, Professor Narasimha, Registrar in Charge, members of the Executive Council, distinguished visitors, dignitaries of the day's conference delegates, ladies and gentlemen of the media, members of the EFL faculty, and my dear students. The ancient Indian fable Panchatantra tells the story of the four friends, the deer, the mole, the turtle, and the crow, who work together to outsmart the hunter not once but twice to free the two friends captured by him. The tale, Four Friends and the Hunter, besides being the story of friendship, is also about the collaboration of the four expert insiders of the three major elements that make up the earth. The fable, in addition to highlighting Mitra Labha and the benefits of the synthesis of knowledge domains, also underscores the centrality of the moral purpose as the guiding principle of knowledge creation. The fables, homilies, parables, and philosophical tracts that the Indian intellectual tradition abounds in underscore the oneness of all knowledge and the inextricable connection between genuine knowledge and morality. Understanding the world of which the self is a part with a view to ensuring the well-being of all is the ethos within which diverse pursuits of knowledge were undertaken within the sagely tradition. This tradition provides a radical alternative to the European enlightenment-driven techno-rationality with its facilitation of narrow and rigid disciplinary focus, resulting in the density of theories within a discipline which forces researchers to move to the margins of disciplines in search of creativity. One of the illustrative examples of this rigidity and the consequent crisis of confidence is the issue surrounding the mask during the COVID-19 pandemic. The virological imperative to make the mask compulsory was confronted by the insights from the social sciences, which were all about the downside of wearing the mask, like the economic fallout, social isolation, and anguish. In sharp contrast to this scenario, the pandemic handling strategies of ancient India were far more holistic and multifaceted, with the overlay of knowledge and belief, resulting in the affected groups being less traumatized by social stigma and the sick being energized to fight the disease with a well-defined regimen and a big dose of faith. The three-day international conference titled Reinventing Disciplinarity through Indian Philosophical Ethos is a small contribution to the nation's efforts to evoke native knowledge systems and the intellectual ethos that inspired them. The aim here is to offer an alternative to the crisis-ridden Western intellectual discipline formation with rigid disciplinary norms and the subsequent fragmentation which seem to occur with the regularity of the pendulum swing. The conference is being organized in collaboration with eminent institutions like the University of Hyderabad, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, JNTU, Osmania University, IIT Hyderabad, NIT Raipur, IIM Bhubaneswar, NIT Warangal, ICFA University, and Aurora University, a fact that bears testimony to the growing interest in the Indian Academy to find creative solutions to today's problems, ranging from ecological justice to equitable distribution of society's resources. The 12 themes and sub-themes listed under them would challenge Indian scholars and researchers into thinking from the edge of Western epistemology and encourage them to delve into their own native intellectual tradition with a view to finding feasible and sustainable solutions to the myriad problems confronting humanity today. The first major step in this direction is asking the right questions. While these questions might be accessible at the intersection of all major disciplines, the better option is to invoke a tradition that sees disciplinary boundaries as provisional based on the sound assumption that the self and the world, like the mind and the body, are parts of the same whole. The conference encourages scholars to hitch their wagon to the Indian knowledge tradition and travel to the future with the wisdom of the past as their guiding star. The keynote address by eminent Indologist Sri Jeffrey Armstrong will set the tone for our collective endeavor to move beyond the Western episteme. The plenary talk by Professor Brian Turner and the interview with Professor Michel Lemon will help us understand the concept metaphor discipline in its historical, sociological, and empirical dimensions. Professor Bhavdosh Indraguru and Professor D. Venkatraf's plenary talks will dovetail with the insights of the keynote address to present a comprehensive view of the Indian knowledge system. The 110 research papers on the sub-themes of the conference by researchers from across the length and breadth of the country will establish interesting connections across disciplines as well as new and original ways of recouping them in the spirit of the Indian tradition of inquiry. The conference, we hope, will be the first among the many attempts by universities and other institutions in India to move away from the hackneyed approaches to research and academic inquiry and join the living intellectual tradition of our ancient civilization. I congratulate the organizers of the conference for their clarion call to the academic community to emulate the wisdom of our sages who were the true prophets looking backwards. I thank the university for this unique opportunity.
Thank you, Samson sir, for your overview of the conference. Now I invite Professor K. Narasimha Rao Garu, the Registrar of EFL University, for his opening remark.
Sri Jishnu Varma ji, Honorable Governor of Telangana and the esteemed Chief Guest of this International Conference on Reinventing Disciplinarity through Indian Philosophical Ethos, who has kindly consented to inaugurate this international conference. My pranams to you, sir. Professor Haribandi Lakshmi Garu, Vice-Chancellor in charge and the President of this inaugural program. The guest of honor, Professor Jeffrey Armstrong, prominent Indologist Canada and the keynote speaker of the conference. distinguished guest, Professor Balakista Reddy Garu, Chairman, Telangana Council of Higher Education, all the esteemed members of the Executive Council of the University, Professor T. Samsonji, Proctor and Dean Academics, and the Chief Advisor of the conference, esteemed Vice-Chancellors, Directors, and dignitaries from other central universities and national institutions, Dr. Upendra Gundala, Convener of the conference, statutory officers of the university, all the heads of the departments, teacher administrators, respected panel speakers, and the distinguished scholars from across the nation, participants, delegates from other institutions, print and electronic media, non-teaching staff of the university, members of the organizing committee of the conference, volunteers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. Shubhodaya. It gives me very great pleasure to be a part of this international conference. I am thankful to the organizing committee for giving me this responsibility of making opening remarks for this wonderful conference. The theme of the conference, Reinventing Disciplinarity through Indian Philosophical Ethos, has its significance as the country today is reinventing and revisiting its legacy of knowledge and to resurrect itself as Vishwaguru among the community of nations. It is surprising to know that the concepts of education in ancient India are still valid and relevant in the modern times. The main purpose of education is a total and integrated development of human personality. According to Sankhya Yoga, human personality consists of the gross element, the body, and the subtle elements such as mind and intellect, and soul and spirit. Our ancient texts strongly argue that the principal object of education is to achieve a balanced and holistic development of all these elements. Though this idea is in perfect accord with the modern philosophy of education, the only thing that is missing is the attention to heart and soul. This is where the theme of the conference sets in to reawaken our senses and inspire us to study the ancient Indian texts and to revisit them and reinvent ideas and new insights. I would say on this occasion that the rich legacy of our ancient Indian knowledge inspire us to study, and at the same time they act as a precursor of the several existing bodies of knowledge in modern times. It is also a fact that some treasures of ancient world have been lost due to dominant materialistic wants and objectives of the modern times. One of such treasures is the self-knowledge, a subject that has long been forgotten. In Sankhya Yoga of the Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter of 45 and 45th verse, the means to achieve this self-knowledge is certainly laid down. It is said by Lord Bhagavan, Traigunya Vishya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvando Nichata Satvasto, Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. The meaning of this, we have to rise above the three attributes of Vedas, because Vedas contribute much knowledge on Sattvika, Rajasic and Tamasic yogas. You be above these three attributes, be yourself from thinking of opposites or binaries. Liberate yourself from the obsession of acquisition, that is yoga, and Kshema is nothing but preservation. All through our life, we ran after these two attributes in this life and these two ideas. This idea is established in the poem, and it can be said that Matthew Arnold used this particular concept in his poem called Scholar Gypsy, and this idea was taken from a 16th century poem that was written by Joseph Glanville. It is called The Vanity of Dogmatizing. The title of the poem is The Vanity of Dogmatizing. It is a story of an impoverished Oxford student who leaves his studies and joins a band of gypsies. And he comes to know that gypsies had a different kind of learning, and he shares this knowledge with two of his associates who after several years recognize him and discover that he had stolen the knowledge of the gypsies. So this is an idea that I would like to present before you, how our Indian text can be revisited. By his determination, the Oxford scholar lives for several years by his singular dedication and devotion to acquire knowledge from the gypsies. This has its precursor in the story of Bhishma in Mahabharata. The theme of the conference alerts us to the regiment, to regiment our thinking process. This is a meaningful pursuit, and thinking is nothing but a meaningful pursuit on a given subject or idea to its logical conclusion. Logic, which is called Hetuvada, has been taught in the ancient seats of learning. Especially Vikramasila and Nalanda are very famous for it. Many of us learned and heard the names of Ibn Battuta, Fahian and Hohensang, but we never questioned why they came here. They came here to learn this particular subject knowledge called Hetuvada, that is called the kind of questioning, how to question and what to question. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord taught us not only the importance of questioning, but also the way in which the question should be asked. And he said, Tadviddi pranipatena pariprasnera sevaya upadeshangti te gnanam gnanena tattvadarshinaha. So, when you go to a guru, go in order to search for knowledge and in order to attain knowledge. But it is not that you go and test your guru whether he has knowledge or not. So a guru should be revered, and a student's service to the guru is through asking insightful questions. When the guru answers those questions, again it is a responsibility of the student to look at what needs to be developed, what needs to be looked into very carefully for further research, and which part needs to be used for further use. Here the question is a term, upadekshanti te gnanam. So the responsibility is on the part of the student, whether the teacher is teaching gnana or agnana. So this is the way in which Bhagavan taught us how the question should be asked and what has to be learned from the guru. Whether it is gnana, gnana has two important domains, that is called Shastra Gnana and Avyakta Paramatma Gnana. So when you go to the guru, you should have these two goals in your mind. I wish to alert this conference to think, explore and work on how the advanced science of quantum physics and quantum mechanics and astronomical science was encoded in just one sloka in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Aneka bahum daravakranetram sarvanstadabhuta sarvatonanta rupam nantam namadhyam napunastavadim Pasyami Vishweshwara Vishwarupa. So here the Aneka Bahu, what we call the magnificence of the infinite form that Lord shows us, it is not just the artificial or the physical arms that Lord shows, but it is the arms of various universes. Not just one universe, but universes. Overwhelmed by the magnificent and infinite form of the Lord, Arjuna becomes bewildered to see even his divine vision, the vast and infinite form of the universes in the Lord. The Bahu that refers to are not just the galaxies but the universes, and Vakranetra is none but the black holes. With these instances, I express my best wishes to the organizing committee for having organized a wonderful academic event. I once again offer my deep respects to Sri Jishnu Varma ji for kindly consenting to bless the university on this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insights from our great epics, and you have really created a platform for our 3-day conference. I call upon the distinguished guest, Professor V. Balakista Reddy, Chairman, Telangana Council for Higher Education, for his brief message.
Good morning one and all. His Excellency Jishnu Varma ji, Governor, Telangana, other dignitaries on the dais, respected faculty members and scholars. We are going to discuss 3 days reinventing the education system in the context of Indian philosophy. Why reinvention? What made us to talk about reinventing the Indian philosophy or part of the NEP 2020. I think, according to me, 5 factors we all have to, think about reinventing the Indian philosophy in the context of 21st century is: 1, globalization. 2nd is liberalization. 3rd is privatization. 4th is digitization. 5th is the COVIDization. Friends, all 4 globalization, liberalization, privatization, digitization, which are influencing the education system. But the last one which I used is COVIDization. Earlier speakers talking about the, COVID pandemic 19. I call it's a coinage by me. COVIDization is a new term. So COVIDization is going to influence the education system. What globalization, liberalization have influenced. part of that factors, Indian NEP 2020 was, put efforts. Today we are talking about multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary, intradisciplinary. All these are all part of that NEP 2020. And today we are living in a globalized world, interdependent world. So multidisciplinary approach is part of our education system. Being in India, if you look at the kind of changes which are witnessing, over the centuries, I can say, humanity has witnessed challenges, changes. Part of the education system, intellect is, I can say, scientific revolution. 17th century, if you look at scientific revolution, 18th century, political revolution, 19th century, industrial revolution, 20th century, information revolution, 21st century is today we are digital, digitization or digital, this thing. These are all going to influence Indian education system. That's why multidisciplinarity is part of that. Other coming 22 years, because India is going to be part of, Vikasit Bharat or developed country by 2047, education system is going to again, influence. Being the youngest country in the world, youth nation of the world, 65% of the population is below 30 years age, where the education system plays important role. That is what we all have to think, what kind of education we have to give, in the years to come. Because, friends, India is going to play a significant role in the years to come, in the decades to come. That's why I think, we are going to play important role. So education system is important, and being a youth country, I think, right education is very important. I congratulate the organizers for a wonderful theme they, chosen, and this is going to have an impact in the years to come, decades to come. I wish you all the best, and also thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the objectives of NEP 2020 and throwing light on multidisciplinarity. It's my turn to invite the guest of honor and keynote speaker, Professor Jeffrey Armstrong from Canada, for his brief message.
Namaste. And if I'm in such good company, I hope I can stay in your association. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. If I have anything to contribute to this conversation, it is because I was initiated by the great acharyas of the Vedic Sanatana Dharma culture, and I am following in their footsteps for the last 40 years of my life. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks to Dr. Upendra Gundala, Dr. Sampson, and the English and Foreign Language University for the kind invitation. It is truly an honor to be here among such esteemed dignitaries, scholars, and university students. A special thanks to Dr. Uttam Rao for sponsoring the Gold VIP edition of the Bhagavad Gita, which I translated, for this event. Your generosity and dedication to sharing Vedic Vidya are deeply appreciated. My topic at this moment is decolonizing language, empowering the next generation to describe Sanatana Dharma in English to the modern world, from academia to vakademia. This is Yakundendu Sarahara Dabala, Yasubhravastavrita, Yavina Varadandamandita Karya Sveta, Padmasana, Om Aing Namo Devi Saraswatyai. Om Aing Brahmanye Namaha. This is a journey for us who came in from the outside. Learning about the feminine devas and devis was a tremendous gain in understanding. And with this, Saraswati Ma is the mistress, the Devi of Vak. In fact, when you have her words, you have a vocabulary, don't you? And so I call this process Vak Yoga. It is because we're going from academia to Vakademia. We're bringing the wisdom of the rishis into the Vedic discussion. So, briefly, what is needed in this is the decolonizing of the Sanskrit language that was begun during the invasion of the British, when Macaulay stopped the teaching of Sanskrit in Vedic universities and implemented the teaching of English. We are now going full cycle, and we are bringing the Sanskrit language back into English without incorrectly making English words synonyms to Sanskrit words. And this is the crucial next step, that we must remove some English words. A good example is Lord. Lord comes from the English word haflard and haflady, the lord and lady who have slaves working for them, and the lady makes the bread and the lord guards the bread and gives it to the slaves who are working the property. This means you should never use the word Lord as a synonym for Krishna or Bhagavan or any of the devas. It is an incorrect word to use altogether. It has no correct, proper meaning, except a slave owner giving their slaves bread as payment. We even now call money bread, don't we? You see the problem? So, the next step in this process is a re-articulation of our language, a changing of our use of the English language from the colonized propaganda of the British to something that is influenced by and given logic through the correct use of Sanskrit words. About 2,000 years ago, Latin was given to English in England. That's what our doctors speak when they say the forearm is the extensor digitorum profundus. That's Latin. So Latin has been the intellectual language of Western civilization. I propose to you that Sanskritam is going to be the language of our planet, and that planet is Matabhumi. I'm going to be brief. This is what is missing, has been missing, and it is time, I call it original synonym error. It's not original sin, it's original synonym. Don't make profound, literal, exact Sanskrit words synonyms with sloppy, messy English words. And this is the next renaissance of the Vedic culture on our planet. The Sanskrit vocabulary, is going to go everywhere. Academia will become Vakademia, and I only have a moment like this. Krishna says, Kalohismin, time I am. Thank you very much. Remember, this is the renaissance of the Sanatana Dharma Vedic Vidya. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Jeffrey Armstrong G. Your message is a standing testimony for recalling Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where the greatness of Indian knowledge has been spread over. Your presence has really made our conference, and we look forward to have deliberations with you. Thank you, sir. And now I request Professor Haribandi Lakshmi, the Vice-Chancellor of EFL University, for her presidential remarks.
Good afternoon to you all. Sri Jishnu Varma garu. Honorable Governor of Telangana and Chief Rector of the English and Foreign Languages University, Professor Jeffrey Armstrong, renowned Indologist from Canada, and today's keynote speaker, Professor Balakista Reddy Garu, Chairman, Telangana Council of Higher Education, Executive Council EC members, esteemed Vice-Chancellors of Central Universities, esteemed directors of the IITs and IIMs, Professor Narasimha Garu, Registrar, EFL University, Professor Samson Thomas, Dean Academics, and also the Chief Advisor of the conference, Professor Somba Salve, Dean School of Literary Studies, Dr. Upendra Gundala, Convener of the conference, Deans, Heads of the departments, faculty members, non-teaching staff, beloved students, scholars, and paper presenters from across the world, media friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. It's my immense privilege and honor to invite Honorable Governor Sri Jishnu Varma Garu to our EFL University. I extend you a hearty welcome, sir. I also extend a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries and participants who are here. The university is witnessing a vibrant academic atmosphere with the gracious presence of Honorable Governor Garu, Sri Jishnu Varma ji, Professor Jeffrey Armstrong, and a galaxy of academic leaders. We are truly honored to have this 3-day international conference inaugurated by our Honorable Governor Sri Varma Garu. I also take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Honorable Governor Garu for inaugurating the RO plant at the new academic block for the benefit of our students and staff. I'm happy to share that our university has an MOU with Rajbhavan to offer English language teaching skills to the teachers working in tribal welfare residential institutions. We are planning to begin the training sessions soon, sir. I appreciate the organizers of the conference, particularly Dr. Upendra Gundala and his team, for choosing a highly relevant theme to reinvent the glory of Indian philosophical ethos through disciplinarity. Knowledge and expertise cannot be achieved by working in silos. There must be relentless efforts for collaboration and to promote the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approaches. For centuries, our country has been an epitome of knowledge and quality education. As we could revive the glory of Nalanda by establishing the university by providing modern facilities, we must also intensify our efforts to rediscovering our past glory and regaining our pride of place. It's important to leverage the emergence of AI, artificial intelligence, and its potential impact at varied fields. We must be proactive in applying these evolving modern technologies for the progress of the mankind. I'm sure that our Indian students can bring in transformative changes by effective utilization of the modern technologies and exploring their application in various fields. I strongly feel that the National Education Policy 2020 and its effective implementation is a significant initiative in galvanizing our education system. The results are visible in making our education system more flexible, inclusive, learner-centric, and multidisciplinary, breaking the boundaries to foster creativity, research, and innovation, promoting critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and training students to become global citizens with strong Indian ethos. Ethos and roots are only possible through a disciplinary approach. We must go beyond the boundaries of disciplines and promote collaborative synergy to make our system globally relevant. At this juncture, let me quote Abraham Lincoln. I quote, "The philosophy of the schoolroom in one generation will be the philosophy of the government in next generation. We must make our classrooms vibrant and provide room for unbridled creativity and expression of thought, philosophy, and experimentation." I am confident that this conference is one right step in the direction in rediscovering the glory of our multidisciplinary approach. I am sure this conference will shed light on myriad aspects of disciplinarity and provide valuable suggestions for the policymakers in transforming our education system and also in setting new benchmarks. I congratulate and appreciate the efforts of the organizers for initiating this prestigious academic conference and offering a platform for global thinkers. Before I conclude, I once again extend my heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Governor Sri Jishnu Varma garu for sparing his valuable time to inaugurate this conference and making it a grand event. I wish all the participants from across the country and globe a happy stay and memorable experience for the next 3 days on our EFLU campus and in the historic city of Hyderabad. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm presidential remarks. And now we have moved to an important event, that is launching of the EFLU Forum for Inter-University Collaboration. I request our Honorable Governor, Sri Jishnu Varma ji, to launch the forum. Thank you, sir. Thank you, dignitaries. Now we move on to the inaugural speech by our Honorable Governor Sri Jishnu Varma ji. I request the Governor to deliver his speech.
Namaskar and good afternoon. On the dais, Professor Lakshmi, Haribandi, Vice-Chancellor in charge, the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. Professor Balakista, Reddy, Chairman, Telangana Council for Higher Education. Professor Jeffrey Armstrong, renowned Indologist from Canada. Professor K. Narasimha, Registered EFL University. Professor Samson Thomas, Dean Academics. Dr. Upendra Gundala, convener of the conference, Vice-Chancellors of Central Universities, Directors of the IITs and IIMs, Executive Committee members, Deans, Head of the Departments, Faculty members, non-teaching staff, my dear students, scholars and paper presenters, dear friends and other distinguished participants, I feel immensely happy to be here at this vibrant and inclusive campus of the EFL University to inaugurate this convention of reinventing disciplinarity, the Indian philosophical value and ethos. I readily accepted the invitation because of my keen interest in the project of involving non-Western modernities. This theme chosen for this prestigious conference is of profound importance in these days when India is firmly on its path in reinventing and discovering the past glory. From my youth, I have been fascinated by India's myriad cultures and traditions. Hence, I found this conference close to my heart. One of the major lessons of this rich, unforgettable experience is that the innate knowledge and native intelligence that have shaped self-understanding and the understanding of the world is too precious an inheritance to lose. That's why we keep on talking of reinventing. I was just 1 day back or 2 days back, I was in Delhi speaking at a college, Aryabhatta College of the Delhi University. And the topic of discussion there was leadership for 2047. And there also I said, in our country, it is not so much of Navanirman. It is more of Punarnirman, or reinventing, rediscovering, delving into the treasury of knowledge that we have, that will take our nation forward. And I was listening to Mr. Armstrong. It's a very nice speech he gave. I wish he would speak for a little more time. It was nice. And he, in his opening, opening his speech with a lovely Sanskrit sloka, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Si Guru Vainava, he said. And it is true. Without a guru, there is no Gyan. And our new education policy stresses on this point very sensitively. As we see the Guru Shishya Parampara in India, the Guru Shishya Parampara stresses on transfer of knowledge, not just transfer of information. Learning should not only become an explanation, it should also become an experience. We should not only make wonderful careers, we should also build great leaders and great citizens. This is what the Indian way or of our thought of Guru Shishya Parampara epitomizes or embodies. The transfer of knowledge, experiential education, and the outcome should be good doctors, good engineers, good politicians, good professors, along with that, good leaders and responsible citizens. So that was the way forward for us, and we must go to that again. As we talk of Viksit Bharat in 2047, we must understand the way of Vikas. As Mr. Armstrong, Professor Armstrong was saying, that all things said in Sanskrit, there is no need for us to look for synonyms in other languages. There is no synonym for dharma. There is no synonym for sanatan. There is no synonym for samadhi. There is no synonym for upasana. Which have to be understood in our lives. A dictionary meaning will not explain it. If I try to explain dharma in an etymological way, it will not be, it will not be experiential for you. It will be the dictionary meaning. If I, try to explain siddhi to you, what is siddhi? It is the accomplishment? No, it is not. With everything we do in our civilization, regardless of what religion, what way we may follow, how we may pray, that is something else. That is, in our civilization, we always put our soul into everything. We believe in the importance of the soul. That's why the father of the nation is also called Mahatma Gandhi, the great soul. We have defined the father of the nation as the Mahatma, the man with the great soul, the one who has the great soul. So that is the way our civilization attitude is. And it's one of the greatest attitudes that the world has ever known. That there's something beyond. How should success be measured? How should Vikas be measured? This is something that we have to show the world. Vikas cannot be measured just by, what they would say, bank balances. Though economy is a very, very important part of Vikas. The fruit may be the very important part of the tree, but without its roots there is no fruit. There is no life. So we have to show the world how to measure Vikas. What is the yardstick? What is the benchmark? of Vikas? Is it only economics? Is it only politics? Is it only social justice? That's why the Registrar, I was listening to the Registrar speaking actually. And he quoted a very nice line, which I like in the Bhagavad Gita. Aneka bahu daravakra netra. So Vikas is like Aneka bahu. Thousands of arms and countless eyes. He has quoted that from the Bhagavad Gita. Aneka bahu daravakra netra. The Vishwarup chapter. When Arjuna sees the Vishwarup, the splendor of the Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he says, Aneka bahu daravakra. He's describing the splendor, the magnificence. That is the magnificence of India, of our nation. And today I'm very happy that we are having this reinventing disciplinarity through Indian philosophical ethos. Ethos and philosophy, philosophical ethos. This is the motherland of all philosophy. You name it and we have it. From atheism to bhakti movements, to the Vedas, the Upanishads, which are very knowledge-based. And knowledge has always, predominated everything in India. And this is the age of knowledge. I remember as one of very young in my days, when I was much, much younger, I read a book by Alvin Toffler. And it was known as what? Power shift. How the power is shifting from a landed gentry. The lords and ladies, as you were saying, has shifted from the lords and ladies to knowledge. Today, power is in knowledge. And in our, civilization, we give power the highest place to knowledge. If there is knowledge, there is development. If there is knowledge, there is justice before. And knowledge does not mean just bookish knowledge. As I said earlier, it means transfer of knowledge, Guru-Shishya Parampara. We keep on passing the torch of knowledge from one generation to the other. And each generation becomes stronger than the previous generation. That is the concept of Guru-Shishya Parampara. That's why when Brahmin does puja at temples, there's a very common sloka that he says, a mantra he says, Namo Tato Vishnu Parama Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayo Diviva Chakkuva Rajatam. I bow before that Vishnu. Tato Vishnu Parama Padam. On his feet I put my head. I bow down to him. Sada Pashyanti Surayo, he is like the everlasting sun, like the blazing sun. And you have to see his glory through the eye of knowledge. Namo Tato Vishnu Paramapadam Sada Pashyanti Surayo Divya Chakkuva Rajatam. Diviva Chakkuva Rajatam. But you have to see him through the divine eye, the eye of knowledge. That was the concept of knowledge. It pervades everything. Yatha Kasa Stito Vayu Sarvatra Go Mahan. Sri Krishna tells Arjuna in the Raja Yoga that I pervade like the wind in all places. Jatha Kasa Stito Vayu. I am everywhere. So knowledge is everywhere. So knowledge is everywhere in every field. It is all pervading. It touches everyone's life. So that was the concept of knowledge in our Indian philosophy. That's why the very, that's why the Western world divides itself into two classes. One is the omni-atheists who believe in one God. And there's the polytheists who believe in many gods. But we say it is not so simple. The Indian civilization is neither polytheist, neither omni-atheist. It is omni-atheist. We see God in everything. There is neither polytheism, neither monotheism. It is omni-atheism. But we believe, yatha kasa sthito vayu sarvatra gobha. From a stone to a tree, everything is created with a meaning. Nothing is meaningless. And we have to discover that meaning through a path where there is collaboration between the Guru and Shishya, the Guru-Shishya Parampara. That's why the opening lines of the Upanishad says, Tamasoma Jyotirgam. The very opening lines does not say how you pray. It defines a goal. From darkness, lead us to light. And when we pray, we don't pray for ours, yours, mine, whose. These are inconsequential, we think. And when we pray, we say, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, Sarve santu nirama, Sarve bhadrani paschantu, Ma kaschit dukkha bhara bhave. Let everyone be happy, let everyone be free from disease, let everyone's mind be lifted, let everyone live in peace. That is the benchmark of Viksit Bharat. A very lofty benchmark. But benchmarks are supposed to be lofty. If your benchmark is not lofty and it is pedestrian, the whole nation becomes lethargic. There is no upliftment. If you think that I should earn well and that's the objective of my life, that cannot fulfill you. So in our Indian ethos or Indian philosophy, we have even defined the end of life. What should the goal of life be? There are lectures and lectures going on, self-improvement books. So many sons and sadhus and gurus are writing on this topic. What should the goal of life be? It should be happiness. In our philosophy, we say it should be Satchitananda. But the Vedanta puts it very well. Puts it in a sloka. A sloka or a mantra is not something or a poetic verse. It is the concentrated form of knowledge. It is the concentrated form of knowledge put into a few lines, which is very, very difficult. People are writing volumes. And here is the Upanishad putting it in a few lines. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudichyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vasishyate. That is to become a whole, to become complete. That is the fulfillment of life, we say. So that is the, Viksit Bharat that we are thinking of. That is the reinvention that is to take place. As Dr. Armstrong was saying, Lord Macaulay came, things were changed. And before that also, Nalanda library was burning for years. But then much of the knowledge is still there. Because, India internalizes knowledge. It is not external knowledge to be kept in libraries, or to kept in archives, or kept in museums. Our knowledge system is internalized through that Guru-Shishya Parampara. It is a very painful thing that libraries were burned. But then, when every person is a library, because I know in our side of the country, the eastern side or northeastern side, many people don't read Mahabharata, and I don't think many will read it here also. But everyone knows who's Arjuna, who's Krishna. Everyone knows, because we have heard it from our grandmothers, from our mothers, bedtime stories, and we tell it to our children. Who doesn't know who's Hanuman? How many people have gone through the whole Ramayana? Who has gone through the whole Mahabharata? But everyone knows who's Hanuman and who's Arjuna, who's Bhima, What did the Pandavas do? You ask everyone, they know more or less. They have an idea. That is because our own society or our household has been lively. We have, protect those epics unknowingly. In the villages also you'll see, we call it tamasha or jatra, those are performances, rural performances, there you will find them. So we have a very evolving system. Not something that is imposed, superimposed, that grows like a tree. A little bit of nourishment, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of hope, and it grows. That is the Indian philosophy. And I must thank the university for such a beautiful program they have made. And we'll see you again. And it is a very nice university for our languages. We should learn languages. They are mediums of expression. A lot of people think that speaking English is something very oppressive, but no more. It was there when Macaulay was there. Now it is expression, not oppression. It's a question of expression, how you express yourself. Many people express themselves through art, some through poetry, some through different languages. And I think learning a language is learning some other culture. Learn something about the world is always very encouraging in our Indian ethos. And we always had that sense of inquiry, that churning, that manthan, that samudra manthan we did. And it is very required, and I congratulate the Vice-Chancellor for holding this lovely conference, and we'll see you again. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir, for your presenting of life, and march forward to make our dream come true very soon, seeing Bharat as Vishwaguru. Once again, we thank you, sir. Thanks are the highest form of thought, and gratitude is the happiness. I call upon Dr. G. Kiran Kumar, Head, Department of Literatures and English, to propose formal vote of thanks.
Namaste. Good afternoon. It's my immense privilege to propose a formal vote of thanks at this grand inaugural of the 3-day international conference on reinventing disciplinarity through Indian philosophical ethos. First and foremost, on behalf of the EFL University and on my behalf, I express deep gratitude to the Honorable Governor of Telangana and Chief Rector of the EFL University, Shri Jishnu Varma ji, for kindly accepting our invitation and for being the chief guest at this inaugural today. We also thank the Honorable Governor Garu for launching the EFL University Forum for Internal University Collaboration Initiative. Now I request the August gathering to give a very big round of applause to the Honorable Governor, sir. We also thank the distinguished guest, Professor V. Balakista Reddy Garu, Chairman, Telangana Council for Higher Education, for being with us today. Thank you so much, sir. We also express our deep gratitude to our keynote speaker and the guest of honor, Professor Jeffrey Armstrong, prominent Indologist from Canada, for traveling all the way from Canada to the EFL University, Hyderabad, Telangana, to deliver his keynote address. What an inspiring personality, sir. Thank you so much for your presence here. We extend our heartfelt thanks to the Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Madam Professor Haribandi Lakshmi Garu, for the kind permission and all the support extended to this international conference. Thank you so much, Madam. We extend our deep gratitude to esteemed members of the Executive Council for their gracious presence and support. Thank you, sirs and madams. We thank our respected Registrar, sir, Professor K. Narasimha Garu for all his mentoring and support, without which this conference would not have been possible. Thank you so much, sir, for your unending support to continue this conference for the upcoming 3 days. We are truly thankful to Professor T. Sampson, sir, Dean Academics, in whose honor this conference is being organized, for all his invaluable mentoring and guidance all through the conference for the next 3 days. We also thank the deans of various schools for their kind support. But special thanks to Professor Sumba Salve, sir, Dean, the School of Literary Studies, EFL University, Hyderabad. We express our immense gratitude to the team, CPD, headed by Professor T. Srivani Garu and Deputy Dean CPD, Professor Atrayi ma'am, for all the wonderful arrangements on the campus for this special occasion. We express our thanks to TEM Technical Infrastructure headed by Professor Jairaju sir. We are also thankful to the MMRC team and the PRO team for all the excellent coverage. We are thankful to the Rajbhavan officers, ADC Garu, his staff for coordinating this conference and making it a grand success on our campus. We thank the print and electronic media friends. We also thank the Osmania University police officials and the Hyderabad police for their constant support and security arrangements. Thank you so much, sir. We thank the esteemed faculty members and the non-teaching staff, especially the finance officer and the joint registrar Garu for their kind support. We are truly thankful to the conference volunteers for their great efforts for the last 10 days and also upcoming 2 days more. Last but not the least, we thank all the delegates who came from across the country to present papers and for their overwhelming response when we call for the papers. We thank the students and the research scholars of the EFL University for their great support and participation. Moreover, a special thanks that the committee of this international conference would like to extend to respected Gunta Lakshman Garu for his gracious presence for this occasion. Finally, we'd like to thank the organizing team, Dr. Rupender Gundala, Professor Sampson sir, Dr. Tirupati Reddy, Dr. Rajaram, Dr. Vijayalata, and Dr. Shihari. Thanks to one and all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. G. Kiran Kumar. I request the August gathering to stand for the national anthem. Sorry, we have the souvenir launch. The proceedings of the conference are brought forward in the form of sovereign. I thank the dignitaries for launching the souvenir. National anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
We will have the keynote address now by Professor Jeffrey Armstrong. I request all the participants to take their seat for the keynote address.